guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Charlotte, and today's YouTube video is my monthly reading wrap up to all the books I have read in October. Now, I don't know if I'm the only person, but I feel like I blinked and October is gone. Like, where did it go? And maybe this is just me getting older, and I used to get really upset when people that were older would say this, but like, this year has absolutely flown past. Like, absolutely flown past. Like, I do not know where it has gone. But here we are. We have entered November. So here are all the books I have read in October, and if they were 5 stars or not. 5 stars, just as a note, is my highest rating that I can give a book. But let's get into it. We have a whole list, okay? I actually need my phone for this because we have a list. Okay, I'm just going to show you. This is the list. I read quite a lot of books in October. The very first book I read was Misfits Like Us by Kristen Becker Ritchie. Now, this is the 12th book in the Like Us series, which is an interconnected standalone series, which is a second-gen series from their Addicted/Calloway Sister series. This book was a little bit of a miss for me. I didn't absolutely love this book, but it was fine. It was okay. It was okay. I think I really liked the book couple that came before this, and I think I had such high expectations for this couple that this book just didn't quite hit as hard. But I do know that there's one more book left in the series, I think, or 2. I'm actually not quite sure. I'm definitely going to read those before I start Burn Bright, which is their newest series. I love Kristen Becker Ritchie. They are one of my all-time favorite author duos, if not my all-time favorite author duo, so I will read whatever they write. This book just didn't hit as hard for me, and I think that was also maybe like the mood I was in, so I'll definitely finish the series though. The next book I have is Fight by Sloane St. James. This, this was such a hyped book on TikTok, and this is one of the cases of I thought it was a good book. I didn't think it was as good as the person thought it was that was recommending it to me, and that's completely okay, right? You will not have the same book taste as I have, and that is a-okay. We are 2 different humans, and we have 2 different book tastes, and that's fine. I just thought this book was going to be slightly different. It follows a firefighter and an EMT, and they basically start having a relationship, and she has a really troubled past, and he's kind of trying to figure out what that is, and then the 2 of them actually get together and then break up, and then it's their second chance romance. It was interesting, the premise of it was interesting. I just didn't really connect with it as well as I thought I could. Also, I have a smudge of mascara up here, and no one told me. How dare they? How dare you? The next book I have is On Tyranny by Timothy Schneider. Now, this was a 5-star read for me. It is a book about the 20 lessons of how democracy basically dies within the last centuries. That was a really bad recap of what that book is about, but it is under 100. I think it's just over 100 pages actually, and it's a great book. So if you haven't read it yet and you are kind of interested in the history of politics and politics in general and how politics kind of evolve, I highly recommend you check that out. It wasn't really like a book, a fun book, but it was a book that I really wanted to read because me and my dad both read books like that, and then we talk about it, and it's a fun thing to do. So I can call him and be hey, I read this book, you should check it out, and he can be yeah, this is what I thought about it, and I'm okay, cool. My dad lives in Germany, so we don't see each other a lot, so this definitely helps. The next book I read was Unlucky Like Us by Kristen Becker Ritchie. Now, I misspoke the first part around. That was the first book in Luna and Donnelly series. This was the second book. I liked the first book more than I liked the second book. Overall, not my favorite couple that this story is focusing on, just because I think I had their story mapped out differently in my head, which is fine. Sometimes with interconnected series, when you have that one couple and you're waiting for their book to come out, that just kind of happens. But it was still a really good book, so I still recommend you check it out. The next book I read was Mate by Ellie Hazelwood. Now, this was a 5-star read. This was a 5-star read. And this actually, I think, kind of got me out of a reading slump, because I feel I'm towing the line of a reading slump. And this kind of it brought me back to life a bit. This book follows Cohen Alexander, who is the alpha of a pack. And then we have Serena. Okay, Serena is not the alpha of a pack. She is half human, half werewolf. And she is being hunted by literally everybody right now, because she's the very first of her kind, and in this world they didn't know that was possible, to be half human and half werewolf. So now the vampires in this world are we need her blood. Like, we just want to take a peek at it. Just a little peek. And she's like, hey, maybe not. She also thinks she's dying because certain things have been happening, and she's like, okay, well, I can't shift. I'm about to die. And she is also mated to Alexander, like Cohen. She is mated to Cohen, not Alexander, sorry. She's mated to Cohen, and they can't be together because he's not interested. He's like, hey, I know we're mated. I just generally don't care to be mated to you, and that's fine. And things kind of go from there. If you haven't read Mate yet, I highly recommend you read it. The next book I read was How Democracies Die by Stephen Levitsky. Also a great book. However, I feel like if you want to read a book on this topic and you don't have that much time, I would recommend On Tyranny, because basically they're the same book or very, very similar. But On Tyranny is just a lot shorter. And if you want a more in-depth analysis of everything that is mentioned in Tyranny, then I recommend you read How Democracies Die. The next book I have is Fortune Favors the Dead by Stephen Spotswood. Now, this was my monthly book pick book for my Buried Book Club, where we read books that have kind of slipped under the radar a little bit. And I will have a full in-depth review for this book coming, but I really, really loved it. It is a new series, or like when I say new series, it is a new series for me that I will be reading, and it basically follows a female detective and her but like her partner, and her partner is part of a traveling circus. This is set in 1942 New York City, and she is tasked with protecting this piece of land, and she nearly kills her now boss, who's there to investigate a murder, and things kind of go from there. And it's such a fun whodunit book. It definitely reminds me a bit of like Agatha Christie's writing. And I just read the second book, and it was just as good, but it's just a really good whodunit. And like, it's sometimes I can see with the second book I kind of knew who it was from like a little bit of a way out, but with this one I was like pleasantly surprised, and I really, really enjoyed it. Then the next book I have is Slave to Sensation by Nayeli Singh. Now, this book I have a whole book review on, but I absolutely loved this book. This is the first book in her Psy and Changeling series, and it follows Lucas. Lucas is a shifter. He isn't technically a wolf shifter. He shifts into a leopard, and it follows our main girl, whose name I definitely did not forget, but I definitely did, blanking on it right now. But he follows our main girl, and she is a different race. Now, her race is it's called Psy. Basically, she's like a computer. She's basically AI, is kind of how I pictured this. Well, she's human, but her brain can tap into the length of others of her species, and they can communicate like that. And then they all have like special powers. Like, one of them can like kill you in your own head, and then you're just dead in real life. It's kind of complicated to explain, but it's a really, really good book. The writing took me a second to get into, just because I'm not the biggest fan of third-person writing, but once I was in, I keep thinking about this series, and I cannot wait to continue. The next book I read is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. Now, this was a 5-star read for me. It was absolutely amazing. If you haven't read it yet, I definitely recommend it. This can be read as a YA book, but it can also be read as like an adult thriller. It was so incredibly good. We have our main girl. She's at a Halloween party. She comes home and she gets hit over the head, and then she wakes up in a hospital and she finds out she has 7 days to live, and she has 7 days to catch her own murderer. It was so good. I did not see the twists and turns coming, and I was pleasantly surprised at the end. But she does die. Like, going in, this person will die. And it had like a lot of like really good like antidotes of like, stop waiting for your life to start, but start it right now. And I generally really, really enjoyed the book. And I really like Holly Jackson's writing. I think it's fun. The next book I have is Murder Under Her Skin by Stephen Spotswood. This is the second book in the Parker and Pentecost detective series, which was the first book was Fortune Favors the Dead. Great continuation of the series. Highly recommend it. I do recommend you read this book series in order, even though they are all individual cases. The overall story will make more sense if you read them in order. And then the last book I read this month was We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. I absolutely love this. This was a 4.5-star book for me. It nearly hit the 5 stars. Maybe it hit the 5 stars. I'm still debating if it hit the 5 stars or not, but it was absolutely amazing. We have Amy, who is a arms for hire. Okay, she's a bodyguard. She's protecting Rosie D'Antonio, who is a famous author. And while she's protecting her, weird things starts happening, like her old clients start dying, and she's always low-key kind of close to when they die. And she figures out she's being framed. Like, she did something for someone in the past, and she is now being framed to cover up some tracks. And she has to figure out who is framing her, while also protecting this older author who's like, hey, this is great, I love this, let's do more of this. And she also recruits her father-in-law, who is an old retired detective from England, and so the three of them kind of go and they start this weird ass detective group while they are being chased. It was so fun, it was so good, and I literally was like, at points I was laughing because I was like, this is actually hilarious. So if you like the Thursday Murder Club, I think you would actually really, really love the We Solve Murders, and I think it is part of a new series that he's writing, and I'm really excited for that. That was the very last book I read in October. I can't wait to read more and continue this reading streak in November, and I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. I've been on like a crime reading crunch, which happens a lot when I get close to a reading slump, because then I switch genres to kind of shock my system. So I think we're just gonna continue shocking my system a bit so we don't actually get stuck in a reading slump. That was it for today's YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon in my next YouTube video. Let me know what you have been reading and all the fun things you have been up to. I would love to get inspired, and let me know your tips and tricks to avoid a reading slump. And if you would like a video on it, because I'm actually pretty good at avoiding them now, let me know and I can give you a little video. I love you guys, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.